are the New York Knicks. I'm back. Rocking in New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks taking no shorts just like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go, New York, go, New York, go!
Hey everybody, welcome to the New York Knicks podcast, episode 479, part of the Lineups Podcast Network at lineups.com and Dash Radio. I am Jay. How you doing, Mark?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing all right. We
You're
are
days
hours
away from hours.
I mean, maybe 48 hours, but hours.
Yeah, well, I guess hours away from the regular season and days away from the Knicks season starting.
Yeah.
Knicks start Wednesday night. The regular season starts tomorrow night or Tuesday night.
I believe tomorrow.
Wow.
Maybe
But who gives a crap? Because I only care about when the Knicks start.
Yeah.
And so it's hours
Tuesday,
away
sorry,
till the NBA season starts, days away till the Knicks season starts, and weeks to months away till Zion plays.
Yeah, Pelicans are the first game of the season, a Tuesday at 8 o'clock, and no Zion.
No Zion. I have to say, on the one hand, like you kind of always feel like, oh, the Knicks didn't get him, so I have like this the jackass quality of myself being like, oh, he's hurt. Oh well, Knicks didn't get him. On the other hand, you kind of have to feel a little bad because the guys. Hopefully this would not be a big deal. The guy looked amazing in the preseason at least.
Yeah, I just when you hear right knee soreness and out indefinitely, it's scary.
And then you hear, this is the guy, the heaviest guy in the league, and he relies very heavily, no pun intended, on his jumping ability.
Yeah.
I don't know. It does seem like a recipe for disaster.
It does.
Do you think he got found out from the doctor he was going to be out for a while, and then the first text he gets is from Greg Oden, and he's like, "Dude, too soon, man." Does that make you feel better about RJ Barrett?
A little bit. A little bit.
Should I spend the next couple minutes talking you into RJ Barrett?
Sure, why not?
Because Barrett, I think, looks just to start off with a very optimistic note. I think he looks really good. For the summer league, he started off the summer league. I didn't think he looked that great in the summer league. I was a little concerned after the first two games. He looked better in games 3 and 4, but preseason it's only been 4 games. But I think he looks a ton better. So I have a question for you.
Okay.
I'm going to give you 3 players,
Mm-hmm.
and you tell me. I know it's early. I'm going to say career-wise, where will their careers end as far as who will be better? Just rank them career-wise.
Okay.
They haven't really had much of a career yet. Towns, KP. Well, first, Towns and KP. If you still had KP, would you be regretting that you didn't get Towns?
Yes.
Okay. Why? Because he stays healthy?
Yeah, he stays healthy. He's been consistently good, whereas KP has been good in spurts. But Towns is probably a top 20 player, and I don't think you'd say that about KP.
I mean, that's fair. Actually, Bill Simmons just did his under-over podcast about took all the teams, went through the under-over for the NBA, and predicted under or over, obviously. And they had a great line. I forget, it wasn't him. It was
Ryan Russillo?
Yeah. What is that? You or me? This noise. God damn it!
You.
These ESPN things just play music, and you can't even hear it, right?
No.
Yeah, I should have interrupted the show to say this.
Yeah.
It's just the automatic play on the videos. Anyway, he's like, Towns. He's awesome offensively. He's really awesome offensively. He's like, show me the sizzle reel of Towns playing defense when it counts in the fourth quarter.
I mean, it's true. He's got flaws, but if you're saying Towns or Porzingis, I'd rather Towns.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you, but it's you look at Towns and the reason that team is not better partly is the fact that he's so bad on defense.
Yeah.
If he was better on defense, if he was KP on defense, the team would be a lot better.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think that those two are, in some ways, KP could be better than him if he could stay healthy.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's
Okay,
just,
so anyway, the third player I want to put in this is Barrett. Who's going to have the best career of the three of them? Rank them, please.
mm,
And keep in mind, Barrett has never played a game in the NBA
I know it's
yet.
really hard. I got
KP
4
just
seasons of each of these other guys.
KP has missed a lot of time in the NBA so far. And Towns has been healthy and been awesome on offense, but not as good on defense.
I'm gonna go Towns, Barrett, Porzingis.
Okay. I'm going to put Barrett first. I am going to go all in on Barrett because he has not played a game yet, and why not go all in on him? But I think he's going to be a really good NBA player.
Going in hard on Barrett.
I am. As far as Towns versus KP, probably you take Towns over KP just because he's available. He plays. But as far as I'm loving what I've seen from him. And I don't think he's going to be the most efficient player early on. I think he'll get more efficient. But there's a lot of things I like about his game. I don't know how much you've been watching of the preseason, but I assume you're watching the whole thing every minute, like 12 times. You watch each game over and over.
Watch it. First I watch it, then I watch it again in slow-mo.
Slow-mo while you take out the lube?
Yeah.
So first thing I'd like to say is, like, I love the way he bullies his way for contact. Like, he doesn't just go to the basket, but he initiates contact, he likes getting contact, and then he finishes at the rim. He's not like Knox, especially Knox last year, who would always love going to the basket, but would throw something wild up, and he would just. Knox was a horrible finisher at the rim last year. RJ Barrett looks like he's going to be a really good finisher at the rim.
Okay, so that's something
that
that
part
the
I
Knicks
think is
need.
big.
Yeah.
I actually would like him to do if he would not mind, I'd like him to teach a class to the other young Knicks players on how to finish at the rim. that would be really nice.
Yeah.
So first, he's young. He's 19 years old. He's physically ready for the NBA, ready to draw contact. You don't have to, like, with the last couple of rookies, we keep saying, well, when he gets bigger, when he gets stronger, when he can actually handle NBA contact, Barrett from day one, I feel like, can do this. We don't have to wait for him to get bigger and hopefully fill out.
Right.
So that's number one.
Okay.
Number two, so, and I think a lot of my comparison also is to Knox. Knox was very head down, and I think Knox maybe will look better this year, but Knox was very head down, blinders on, go to the basket, not pretend no one else is on the team a lot of the time. Barrett seems very aware. He hits open teammates all the time. He's very much looking, like, both for his shot, but looking for his teammates and trying to, like, be part of a team, not just be himself trying to. He doesn't seem like he wants to play hero ball.
Right.
So I like that also. And he was in a weird situation last year at Duke. He came in as the top prospect. Zion emerged, and Zion looks like phenomenal. And he didn't, like, at any point. He thought he was going to be the star of this team. Ended up not being the star of the team, and he didn't, like. You never heard anything of him, like, you never heard him being disgruntled anyway on Duke. I like him generally. I think could be a really good team player.
Yeah, I mean, he seemed to have a good attitude. A lot of players would have been pretty pissed off when they're like, "Hey, we're just going to run the entire offense through Zion for the whole season."
But they didn't even do that. Anytime you watch a Duke game, and when the points really counted, when it really mattered, the ball was always in his hands. It wasn't in Zion. He would get the ball to Zion, but, like, he was the one who initiated. Everything went through him, which I think speaks volumes of, like, what they thought of him on the team, despite the fact you had Zion on the team.
Right.
Okay. So advanced finisher at the rim. He's a good passer already. He's someone that they've already been talking about him, like, running the offense through him.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he seems always under control. There was a great play in I forget who was shooting in the last game against the Pelicans, but basically Barrett leaves his feet to go up for, like, the block, go for the fake, basically, and the player then tries to jump into him, but Barrett, like, turns, like, sideways, and the player basically misses him and can't draw the foul.
Mm-hmm.
And basically just being aware.
So good body control.
Yeah, body control. He's never, like, that's what the thing would happen when he draws. I see him going to the basket. He seems like he's always in control.
Mm-hmm.
Also, his shot. He looked great against the Pelicans as far as going in. He's not always gonna be like a. Just his shot generally, his form looks really good. His outside shot will develop more. He seems like someone everyone says he's a really hard worker. He's very coachable. People speak very highly of him. I think he's going to be an all-star. Not right away, but I think the Knicks have found someone. He might be better than KP. As excited as we were about KP, I think we found someone better in Barrett.
Wow.
You convinced?
I'm excited. You've gotten me excited about Barrett.
I think he looks really good. I don't know. I mean, I think he's going to do a lot. I think also like his defense. I haven't watched his defense that closely, but generally he's looked fine on defense. I think the him being a bad defender was overrated. I think he's just going to be a good player. I think they were going to be. I think he's also a guy that like if he shoots 3 for 10 one night, it's not going to be the end all. Like Knox, he shoots for 3 for 10, 3 for 11. That's all he did that night. Barrett will still get some assists, get some rebounds. He'll do a lot more on the floor. So like it won't be the end all if he doesn't have a good shooting night.
Right. I do have to say he's definitely really big. Like,
Yeah, he's really big.
I was watching a game and like, he looked bigger than some of their forwards, and I was like, holy crap, that's like maybe our point guard going into the season.
And there was a there was a dunk he had where he just like went up from dunk and like he showed like a level of athleticism where you were like oh, I know Zion's big in dunk. I know Zion like obviously the big dunker on the team, but you're like, oh, Barrett's got some ups.
Mhm.
He can. He also looks like unlike Zion, unlike maybe KP. I'm not quite as worried about injuries with this guy. I know he hasn't had any major yet, and who knows what will happen. But it doesn't seem like the body type where like this, like the body type where like you should be concerned about injury.
SI did a scout. They had like interviews with scouts from around the league,
Yeah.
and one of the comments on Barrett was that he has a body type that looks like it's injury prone,
Oh, really?
which I
Maybe-
thought was
maybe I'm a
interesting
moron.
because no, I didn't see it either, but
I don't know. He
Yeah.
looks physically like he looks like he's not like. Whereas I look at KP 7'3", and he's a little bit gangly. You're kind of worried about his knees the whole time. Zion obviously is quite heavy, and that makes you worry about his knees. Not saying he's out of shape, but it's like he's just a big guy.
I think anybody over 6'10", you kind of worry about their knees.
Yeah, but like so Barrett's he 6'7",
Yeah.
so it's a little bit like shorter than that. I mean, who knows?
Well, the new NBA rules, you have to do your actual height, so they adjusted everybody's heights.
Then Zion was shorter, but Barrett stayed at 6'7", I think.
Yeah.
Why did they change that? Or why was that not the rule before?
I don't know. It was kind of like just pick what height you want to be.
Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Because I know Kevin Garnett was always listed at 6'11" because he thought that people would underestimate him if they saw he was under 7 feet. But
Wait,
he
how
was-
tall is no Garnett? I mean, how tall is Garnett was 7 foot though, right?
Yeah, but he had himself
Oh.
listed as not 7 feet to like throw opponents off.
I always think about Rocky Part 3. Remember Rocky Part 3? The beginning of the movie was Rocky versus Hulk Hogan,
Mhm.
and they call out Hulk Hogan's height, and they list Hulk Hogan at 7'3", and you're like, I don't think Hulk Hogan's 7'3". What the hell? And it was just to make up for the fact that Rocky's really short.
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone is like 5'5" or something. So
Yeah, so they could say he's like 6'2" because they don't want to say he's 5'5". So
yeah, because isn't Hulk Hogan like 6'3" or 6'4" or something? Like he's
yeah,
big.
yeah,
He's
a
big,
normal.
but he's not.
He's obviously a huge man, but like
Yeah.
he's not like insanely tall.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm excited about Barrett. I don't see the injury prone thing, but what the hell do I know? Generally, I think the Knicks have found someone here. I think he's going to play 30 minutes a night, not just because like he's a rookie, he's got to play. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be hard to get off the court. He does enough on the court that he's going to be a guy you're going to want out there even in his rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you just because you want to win, not because you want to develop him.
Right.
So I don't know. I got a game for you. Want to play a game?
Yeah, sure. Let's do this.
Okay. Quick game I got for you. So I went on Basketball Reference. I looked up some Knicks players. Pull up the Knicks roster if you don't have it in front of you already.
All right.
I could prepare you for this bit, but I didn't prepare you.
No.
Because why would I?
Okay.
So I looked up you know how Basketball Reference has players like nicknames on there,
Yeah.
and they have nicknames like that are rarely used. So I looked up some players' nicknames. I'm going to tell you the nickname, and you guess the Nick.
Okay.
And like an easy one would be like the Block Nest Monster.
Right.
Who do
That's
we-
Robinson, obviously.
Okay, yeah. So the rest of them are not that easy. Who's Lunch Pail?
Lunch Pail.
Lunch Pail. There's a Lunch Pail in the Knicks.
I'm gonna say Taj Gibson.
Wow, good job.
Thank you.
I
I figured he's the guy that cleans up other people's messes.
Mook.
Mook.
And I'm not trying to be racist. It sounds like I am.
Marcus Morris.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. The man with the golden arm.
Oh my God.
That's a nickname. You don't see the crowd cheering that one. Come on, man with the golden arm. Come on.
Wayne Ellington?
Are you kidding me?
I got it.
Yeah. Big Bruiser.
Big Bobby Portis?
No. You'll never guess this one. I'll give you one more guess. I'll tell you.
Big Bruiser.
Don't let the nickname confuse you.
Yeah, we already went through all the big men.
Yeah,
so
the Big Bruiser is not. It's almost like calling the guy tiny.
Damian Dodson.
Kadeem Allen.
Okay.
Okay, the last one. This guy has 2 nicknames. I think the second nickname is a little more obvious, so I'll give you the first one. Ducky.
Ducky. Damian Dodson?
Ooh. I'll give you a second nickname, see if you can figure it out. Maple Mamba.
Maple Mamba.
So, do you want a hint? Or you got it?
Ducky and Maple Mamba. Dennis Smith?
No. So, first off, Maple alludes to the fact that he's Canadian.
Yeah, I figured that, but I don't know who's Canadian on the team.
There's someone who's Canadian who's kind of a big deal on our team.
Barrett?
Yes!
Okay.
You like that bit? I thought
Yeah,
that was
it was good. I'm surprised I got the first couple.
I'll give you actually another. So this is not a Nick, but I'm going to read you the nicknames. See if you can figure out who this player is. They called him Maple Jordan, Junior Jordan, Mr. Prospect, and Mr. Fantastic.
A current player?
Current player in the NBA who may not fit all those nicknames.
Mr. Prospect, Mr. Fantastic, current player.
So think about some player who you'd be calling, if the fans were calling Mr. Fantastic, do you know the fans are being sarcastic? Because he's not as good as he should be.
Right. Is he on the Pelicans?
He's not in the Pelicans. He's in the West, though.
Mr. Prospect.
I'll give you a hint. Jimmy Butler does not like this person.
Wiggins.
Yes. Crazy nicknames, huh, for him?
Where are they getting these nicknames? I've never heard of any of these.
Who the hell knows? You know, a lot of the Knicks didn't have nicknames either. A lot of players don't. I was hoping there would be more nicknames than Nick. I thought like everyone would have a nickname. I thought it'd be a real I couldn't find that many nicknames.
It's just the guy who makes the site.
I guess. The man with the golden arm. I can't believe you got Lunch Pail. That was a pretty good one. By the way, so the Rockets played the Heat. This is not Knicks related. James Harden put up 44 points, shot 8 for 16 from 3. That's great. I don't know why Harden needs to do that in a preseason game, but that's what he does. Anyway, if you had, though, on your fantasy team, the guy, was it Kelvin Nunn?
Yeah.
Guy scored 40 points in preseason. Kendrick Nunn, sorry. Do you know who that guy is?
No, but then I tried to pick him up on my fantasy team, but I couldn't figure out how to put Oladipo on injury reserve in enough time, so I missed out on him.
He was an undrafted free agent in the 2018 class. So already he may be better than our 2018 undrafted free agent in Trier. But the Golden State Warriors picked him up for a little while. They cut him, and then he dominated the G League, and the Heat picked him up.
Interesting.
That's why you got to scout the G League.
Yeah.
I don't know how good this guy will actually be, but he went 6 from 10 from 3, 15 for 27 from the floor, 40 points. I don't care if it's preseason. That's a lot of goddamn points.
It is. That's somebody to keep an eye on.
How would Knicks fans be losing their mind if this was a Knick in the preseason?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my God, we'd be calling him the second coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Knicks played 2 preseason games. They played the Pelicans and the Hawks. They lost both close games. Do you care about the outcome?
No, not really. I mean, so what? They lost some preseason games.
Yeah, no. I mean, you care about the performances, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it doesn't matter if you win every game or lose every game. They don't count.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so the Pelicans game started off with the Knicks being down by a lot early, and then the Knicks fought back and played a really good game the rest of the way. So I like that. I liked what I saw from Barrett. The other players look pretty good also. Knox actually looked pretty decent. You know who did look very good? Dennis Smith.
Yeah.
What's the deal with our point guard situation? What the hell's going on? Dennis Smith did have a bunch of assists. He's just like, how can you be a shoot first point guard if you can't shoot?
The thing is, the point guards is like either Smith, Peyton looked like garbage. Frank doesn't look that very good. I know we can't say that without getting blasted on Twitter, but he didn't.
I made some comment, which you read on Twitter. I made some comment that because I said like for those who are already out on Ntilikina as our point guard, that's crazy talk. But for those of you who are really all in on Ntilikina as our future point guard, that's also crazy talk. He hasn't done anything yet.
Yeah.
He's had a pretty mediocre run so far. Anyway, so someone wrote back, which I thought was an interesting, right? Like, which got like a ton of retweets. Let me find the comment. The comment he put. God damn it! I can never find anything. Oh yeah, he put absolutely ball mover, court vision, high IQ, elite defense, everything you want in a point guard. Or are you gonna downplay him cause the offense shaky? Our 2-3-4 spots get buckets. You need him to stabilize that group. His O will develop more over time. More too than scoring. Like, is that like I don't know, like that? Like you see that and you're like, what the hell are you talking about? Like his ball movement is pretty mediocre. His defense is okay. It's good at times, but it's not like amazing. Like whatever elite, like he has a ways to go before you're like, this guy's our point guard of the future.
Yeah, it's. I don't get why people are so in on him. He hasn't shown me anything really.
I think we talked about last show. Defense is important, obviously, but it's not. Offense is probably more important.
At the guard spot.
Yeah. I think there's so many plays when he doesn't initiate the offense. He dribbles the ball down and just hands it off to someone else, and basically just let someone else initiate the offense. And I don't think that's like. You can't have a point guard that refuses to initiate the offense.
Yeah.
And you also need, one thing Dennis Smith did do, which I did like, was that he tried to always, he was always trying to push the ball, trying to get the Knicks to go faster, which is, you're gonna score more points when you catch the opponents before they're set on their defense. If you push the ball, you have a better chance. That's the whole point of the 7 second or less thing, is that if you allow the defense to set up, then they're gonna have their best chance to stop you.
Yeah.
So I don't like how Ntilikina doesn't push the ball. Every once in a while there'll be some burst where he'll drive to the basket, but then he won't do it again.
Okay, I mean, I feel like every time we do this, then we just get trashed.
Yeah, I just don't even know because Dennis Smith, his shooting is awful. He can't shoot 2 for 12 and be our point guard. His shooting still looks like it's like his form looks great. I don't know what the hell with Dennis Smith, and he always looks wildly out of control going to the basket. I wish RJ Barrett could teach him how to get to the basket. I mean, some people have talked about the idea if you have Ntilikina and Barrett together, and Barrett's doing part of the the initiation, part of the offense goes through Barrett, then it won't look so bad with Ntilikina being so not initiating the offense. Kind of like a 2-point guard thing with the two of them.
Right, because neither of them can play point guard, so you put them both out there.
On the Bill Simmons thing, I think it was Simmons said he goes, I think Dennis Smith is the worst guy to put next to Barrett as the other guard. And they're like, the worst guy in the Knicks? He's like, no, the worst guy in the goddamn NBA. I do think Barrett is a better. I'm sorry. I think Dennis Smith does try to pass for his teammates. I don't think he's completely. Do you think he's all shoot first, or do you think he does actually pass the ball?
I don't think he's all shoot first. I just think he's not the greatest. Not that good.
No, I don't think he's the greatest. Maybe Kadeem Allen could play a little bit.
Maybe.
I haven't seen him in a while. How bad could he be about these guys?
The Knicks team is constructed like my fantasy team. Too many good big men and no guards.
Yeah.
I'm really worried about that for my fantasy league, by the way.
I'm really worried about that. I don't know what you do with the rotation here. I think Fizz said that he might even try a rotation where he has the three of them out there at the same time to see how it goes.
Oh, good.
I don't
We have
know.
all
What do
these
you
good
do?
big men, so let's play 3 guards.
I think a lot of it's going to be like he goes, "Hey, Peyton, Dennis, you're going to play tonight. Frank, you're off." And then like he'll switch and go like, "Peyton and Frank, now you're on, and Dennis, you're off."
Right.
Because I feel like you have to like play two of them and just like see how it goes. Someone's got to emerge. Like we played a whole season last year, and Moody ain't emerged as being bad.
He definitely established himself at being trash.
Yeah, he was really like you knew what he was by the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited about the team going forward. I guess. Otherwise, except for the whole point guard thing.
I mean, we have to be, because if we're not excited about this team going forward, then
What do you? So I'm excited about RJ Barrett, and that really gets me excited about this team. What's your starting lineup? Game 1.
I guess it would be Smith, Barrett.
Are you gonna do Smith and not do Ntilikina?
Right.
Because I almost think I wouldn't mind trying Ntilikina, even though I've just trashed him. The double point guard, where Ntilikina doesn't have to really be the full point guard. Maybe maybe he'll look better in that regard.
I just feel like Smith, he might not be good, but he might have a higher ceiling than Frank.
Yeah, I mean Peyton. Like it seems like Knicks Twitter at least is all out on Peyton already.
I don't know. He went on like a triple-double streak last year. He looked all right in spurts. So
he didn't look that great in preseason, but like let's give him a little bit of give him a little bit of a break. I mean, he's been playing the league for a little while now.
Well, that and he's playing with a completely different team, and point guard's the hardest position to fit in with a new team, like on the fly.
He looked like he was trying to be aggressive, at least in his first game. I'd say let's give him a little bit of break. I agree with that. It's really hard to fix. So you're going Smith and Barrett. I'm going to say Ntilikina Barrett, but either one, that's fine. What do you got? What's the rest of the
I think
floor?
you got to go Morris, Randall, Robinson.
The only thing I have to say about that, do you feel like that's the spacing kind of bad on that?
Not really. I mean, all three of the big men can hit outside shots.
You're pretending Robinson can hit outside shots?
Well, okay. 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. I agree with you. Two of them 3. Like the Knicks should let it fly from 3 more.
I mean, Morris and Randall arguably are more consistent shooters than Smith and Barrett at this point.
I mean, it's not arguably. It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Morris, I would say I've come over to the point that I think Morris might be our best player right now.
Yeah, he might be.
I was gonna put Randall there, but I haven't seen enough from Randall to say I think Morris is a better player right now.
And then you got Peyton, Knox, Portis, Dodson, and Ellington off the bench, and then Gibson.
Are you gonna do your Knicks player power ranking soon?
Yeah, sure. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow.
Maybe that'll be good. That'll be good for we can talk about that on the next show.
The New York Knicks podcast.com.
Yes. So I got a couple questions for you.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for me, or do you not do that part?
I did not do that.
Oh, screw you. I asked some of them. So does RJ do everything you hoped Knox would do last season?
Does RJ do everything I hope Knox would do?
Yeah, last season. Like the Knox, all of the things you're disappointed with about Knox last season. Do you think RJ fits like? It's gonna be more RJ praise. I'm really like hyped on him right now. But I was gonna say he passes, he plays some defense, he plays team ball.
I mean,
I'm talking him up like he's already in the Hall of Fame.
Right, like he hasn't played a regular season game yet, so I don't know if he does everything Knox does.
Okay, fine. I asked you the starting lineup question. Is Wayne Ellington going to be an underrated signing? And is Ellington Dotson's ceiling?
I would say yes, and I haven't seen enough of Ellington to comment on his defense.
Yeah. I don't know enough about his defense yet either.
But it's... Yeah, I mean, the odds of Dodson, I guess, being that much better than Ellington are probably pretty slim.
He did it a long 3. I mean, he was shooting pretty well at the end of last season, and he did a long 3 to start. Basically, when he took one shot in the last game against the Pelicans, but he did hit a long 3. Dotson is a guy that could be a streaky 3-point shooter, which I guess kind of what is Ellington is also.
I mean, a lot of guys on this team are decent.
Yeah,
but that's it though.
Squad.
But what is the ceiling for almost everybody on this team? Like, pretty much where they're at.
Well, Morris can be more of an offensive go-to player, which he hasn't been yet in his career. Randall can get better. He's 24 years old. Barrett could end up being a really good player. Knox, the big thing with Knox basically is, does he pass more? Just part of the offense. Does he know? Does he have a clue where he's supposed to be on defense? And will he just shoot better?
Right,
His
but my
shooting
point
form looks really good at least.
But my point is, like, what is Knox's ceiling? You know, what is Dodson's ceiling? Like, they could all improve, but like, are they really going to be that good?
I mean, like, I think as you talk about the bench, I think Knox is going to be. I think he could be a solid guy off the bench. Is where he's going now.
I
just
feel
don't
like
see
that's
MJ
almost the
start.
whole team.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of. Well, I'm not convinced. Even though I said Ntilikina could start, I'm not convinced he'll be a solid guy off the bench yet.
And I said Smith could start, and I'm not sure he'd be a solid guy off the bench yet.
It's a frustrating roster. I don't know. It's going to be a tough job. Here's a question for you. Do you think Fizz does enough to make the team better? Not in the sense of I don't know what he does as far as like all the stuff like off the court stuff. You don't see it. Like, and that stuff is really important to get the team to play together and everything else and practice. But at least on the court, does he do enough? In the sense of he doesn't really draw up an offense, or you don't see much of an offense. You don't see much of a deep. There's a lot of things where he seems like he just goes, just play and let's see how it goes.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you have a whole team of young players. You don't want to overwhelm them with all these different plays. And he also has a lot of really bad players. He had a team with a terrible record, and he had them playing like game 80 of the season last season. They were playing hard still. And
what were they supposed to do? They're going to go into game 80 and go like, we're an embarrassment and we'll play like that?
yeah.
They can have some goddamn pride.
Have you watched the Kings game from like game 50 on? Like, they didn't care.
The Kings? You think it's
Yeah,
someone else?
I mean, the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies. I was going to say, Kings were pretty good last year.
Yeah. No, like, the Grizzlies were like, you know, it looked like they were being held at gunpoint to play basketball.
Yeah, I mean, and that's all the off the court stuff. Also, I'm just saying, like, I wonder if there's more he could do in the sense of like even the preseason. Like, I didn't see even that much pick and roll. Like, I want to see some more complicated offensive sets to get the team going. Just do a little more to get the offense going. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the X and O stuff not going to matter anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a really hard. This is a really hard team to coach.
So I read Malcolm Gladwell. You read any of his books?
No.
So he wrote Tipping Point. He wrote Blink. He wrote Outliers. Well-known books and different things. Anyway, so he has this book called David and Goliath, and just talks about people in the kind of underdog situations and how they really rose to the occasion and did really well. And there's a coach. Now he's a coach. There's a guy named Vivek Randive. Do you know who that is?
I've heard that name before. Refresh my
memory.
memory.
You should have. So he actually owns the Sacramento, or he's one of the majority owners of the Sacramento Kings.
Right. Okay.
Which I didn't even realize when I was reading this. Which I actually like. I saw that I was reading this thing and thinking of the book, and then like later on, I looked him up and I was like, that guy from the book actually owns the Kings. Anyway, he ended up coaching like his this junior girls basketball team, like a bunch of 12-year-olds, and where they were playing, they were like really, really the underdogs. The girls like were a little bit shorter. They were like less talented. Just not a very good, like, if you just looked at it, you go, they were the David and the Goliath story.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the book actually explains also how David and the Goliath story, David actually was the favorite, if you actually looked at it, when he really explains what happened with David and Goliath, which is also an interesting thing. But anyway, so basically, he takes this team and goes, they're not going to be very good shooters. They're not going to be very good at basketball. If I really want to win, what do we do? And so he basically had them become a team where all they did was press. They decided the full court, instead of like giving up half the court, basically, where you let the team just kind of dribble up and you wait for them, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to contest the inbounds. We're going to contest you up to the half court line. We're going to contest everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically ended up becoming like they were super dominant. Basically, they ended up like just dominating and like being much, much better than you would expect from the team. Basically, the team didn't have a lot of talent, but because of the coaching, they ended up being awesome. And I just read that and I was like, yeah. Why do the coaches, like, you look at the Knicks and you're like, the coach is like, we're not that good and we're going to play like that. is there a coach that can do more with this team? Why don't teams press more?
I think because it uses up a ton of energy, so you can do it, but it's really hard to sustain that type of play.
But a group of 12-year-old girls did it. I mean, the thing was, he said in practice, all they did was run. They ran, just so the girls could be in shape for this because they knew how intense that is to actually do that. But you just keep cycling girls in. They basically do a lot of bring girls in and out, and you just have them run and get them in shape for this. And apparently, they said also a lot of their opponents got mad at the style because they were like, "This is bullshit. This is not really a basketball. What are you doing with these girls? Aren't really you're not really teaching us. The girls are supposed to learn how to play basketball." He's like, learn. They're learning how to fight. They're learning how to play this up tempo style, and they're doing really well. What's your problem? Is this basketball?
I agree in theory. I just don't think that strategy would work in the NBA. It's too exhausting. You can do it for a few plays to throw the other team off.
I'm not saying that the Knicks should need but why not do that a little more? The Knicks are bad at defense. Press more, or the Knicks their offense isn't quite as good, so do more of a D'Antoni 7-second or less thing. Just try to catch the defense off guard.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Fizdale isn't the coach for our forever coach, but it's.
I don't know. I was just wondering, could he be doing more? Is he a coach? Would be better off just with a more experienced coach that knew how to run better plays and knew how to do you want a coach that's learning along with the players?
I don't think there's a lot of really good coaches available.
Yeah, I don't have an alternative here either in mind. Just you want to go to questions?
Sure. I mean, I get what you're saying. It's not like there's a long list of coaches where I'm like, why don't we get him or why don't we get him?
I'm just watching and I'm also just maybe the sour grapes from last season where I wanted so much from him and I watched the offense not be that great, and I feel I'm watching the preseason. I'm he's just letting the players kind of run. It doesn't seem like he's running a lot of offensive sets. He's not it's not going to be Greg Popovich, but you see that team, they always know what they're doing.
Right. It's again, trash team. It's really hard.
Yeah. I want not a trash team, Jay. That's all I want. I want some coaches to come in here and go I'm going to work a miracle. We're going to make a Disney movie about how good the Knicks are going to be this year.
True. All right. We are nyknickspodcast@gmail.com, NY Knicks Podcast, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Patreon, and the New York Knicks Podcast.com is our website.
Okay.
We don't have any emails, surprisingly.
Okay.
It's
Facebook,
3 days
Oscar
before
writes.
the season starts. Everyone's all set.
Oscar writes, Smith and Ntilikina combined for 6 points, 2 for 9 field goals, 0 for 4 from 3 points in 42 minutes last game. Payton hasn't seemed to add much in the 2 games he has played. Time to add Barrett at the 1. What do you guys think of Barrett, Dotson, Knox, Randall, Robinson lineup? And Paul wrote back, he's not a point guard, which is probably true.
What do you think of that? I don't like starting Knox.
Yeah, well, I mean, just forget that part. Well,
Morris is way better than Knox. Way better.
I think the theory maybe is that Knox spaces the floor a little better than Morris.
Does he, though?
I don't know. I mean, Knox, you're really down at Knox also. We're hoping he gets to the point where he can be a starter. I just don't think he's a starter.
I mean, I think the lineup was suggesting just go full youth movement, but I think you need somebody who's consistent and knows how to play out there.
Well, Randall, I mean, yeah, I guess Randall's part of the youth movement, so to speak, but Randall knows how to play, though.
He does, but he's in preseason anyway. He's been pretty inconsistent.
He's been okay. He hasn't been as good as advertised, but anyway, what do you think of the backcourt part of it? The Barrett Dotson.
I'd give anything a try right now. I'm not happy with the backcourt. If one of those, if Barrett could play the point better than our 3-point guards, then do it.
I mean, Hazonia played the point guard better than our point guards last year.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't love the idea of putting it all on Barrett. He's a rookie starting off. He didn't really play point guard in college, so he played it at times. That's why I don't mind the lineup of having Barrett next to like a Ntilikina.
Maybe Peyton just had a bad preseason. He'll be fine.
Yeah, it's true too. Or maybe Ntilikina had a bad
we're basing
year and
it
a
on he only played 3 out of the 4 preseason games.
Yeah, we're giving him a lot of crap for Yeah, even Dennis Smith, he's coming off, he had surgery over the offseason. He remade his shot. Maybe he'll look better.
Yeah.
Evan writes, does Barrett looking pretty good make you feel not so bad for the two make you feel not so bad for the 2 bad losses. By the way, Knox still looks like trash. Basically, does Barrett not looking bad make you feel okay?
Yeah, like I said, I don't
the
care if the
preseason-
Knicks lose every preseason game. I don't care at all. So
I've never seen preseason wins and losses count in the regular season standings. So
yeah. To this date, they still haven't counted. So
Yeah.
I'd rather just see him look good. Yeah, that's fine.
yeah, does it also make you feel better about the 3rd pick?
Yeah, I mean, and the fact that Zion's already injured, and I haven't heard any buzz on Morant at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about the draft picks that they've taken. Like, so I feel like with Barrett, the Knicks just said this is the best guy available. We're going to take him, right?
Yep, exactly.
But the last 2 guys with Ntilikina and Knox, it was kind of for Ntilikina, we have to get a point guard. We have to get a point guard. We have to get a point guard. So they took Ntilikina. Not that they necessarily would have taken Donovan Mitchell, but you were kind of obsessed with getting a point guard. And you also had the Phil Jackson triangle system. And then the following year, we can't draft the point guard because we have Ntilikina. We can't draft the point guard. We have Ntilikina. Where if you were thinking you still need a point guard, you might have drafted Shea Alexander Gilchrist, who looks, or whatever his name, Gilchrist, who looks pretty darn good.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice this year the Knicks just like looked at it and said, "We'll take the best player."
It should always be the best player.
Yeah, because I feel like they almost like hurt us with both draft picks.
Because
Paul
even
Wright-
if you take a best player available who is redundant, you can always make a trade.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at those 2 guys, like, do you think Ntilikina or like when the Knicks drafted Ntilikina or Knox because they thought he was the best player available, or because they feel like he fit in and you couldn't take you were like. Well,
I don't
guess
know. I mean, there wasn't a ton like with Ntilikina. You could say now, obviously Donovan, but I don't think it was that clear cut during the draft.
Probably if they passed on Ntilikina, it probably would have been like Malik Monk also.
Yeah, it's not like Mitchell was the very next pick.
No, and even with Knox, like I don't know.
You could
Knicks
say Smith, but like we don't even know if Smith is good, and he's on the team now. So
yeah, exactly. And even with Knox, I just like Knox. I don't know. Just like hindsight, I hate this team.
I think they thought they were being sneaky with Knox. I think they thought he was overlooked, and they were getting a steal.
Well, I think they also with Knox, they looked at their own workouts with him and were blown away by his workouts, which is something. Those are important, but you have to like think like the actual play on the court was more important than the workouts.
Right.
Because a lot of guys always have those workouts that are amazing, and you draft them, they end up not being good.
Yeah.
Whatever. Knox and Trier, Paul writes, Knox and Trier are both really good at overestimating their athletic ability. Which one will have more missed dunks? Is it just Knox because he'll get more playing time?
That is a good question.
I think Trier's a better finisher than Knox.
Yeah, I think Knox is gonna be one of the league leaders in missed dunks.
Yeah, I think Knox is one of those guys that you go play basketball and this guy like just gets to the puts up like these amazing shots at the rim and you're like wow, well that didn't go in. Well, wow, that didn't go in.
Yeah.
You keep doing having this great game getting to the rim and you're like, oh, if any of them went in, we'd be winning.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you think he'll be better this year?
He better be.
If you say Knox played, I don't know, just based off his performance last year, like what percentage better do you think he'll be?
20.
Step forward.
Mm-hmm.
Paul writes, for years we've lacked consistent perimeter defense. How important is team...
I thought that was going to be the end of the comments.
That is it. How important is team familiarity, and is our ever-changing roster the biggest issue? What other causes are there?
I mean, it's definitely important. Teams that go further in the playoffs have some sort of chemistry, unless you put together like a super team. But that happens like once every 10 years. Other things is players' basketball IQ. You can have really good talent, really good athleticism, and just not have the IQ to know where to be, where to go.
Yeah, we always have a lot of young guys who aren't quite as court aware.
I
There's
think
also
people
that soccer thing where everyone chases the ball, and you're like, this guy's still standing back there. You might want to stay near him.
Right. I think people overestimate athleticism over just basketball IQ. Like, oh, he can dunk from the free throw line. We need to get him. Whereas another guy might be a little slower, a little less athletic, but he's a smarter player and he'll actually do more on the court during a game.
I'm guessing there's no stat out there for overhelping, but I'd say the Knicks probably lead the league every year in overhelping on defense.
Yeah, I mean, this has been going on since Amari, where he would just completely leave his man to try and chase a block from halfway across the court.
Yeah, there's always so many guys like you're like, we don't need a third defender. One guy could have defended him. Just stay near your guy because your guy just scored.
Yeah.
And I don't blame that. It's been going on for so long. You can't really blame Fitz, but like, Paul writes, LaMelo is definitely a top prospect. How worried does the Ball family make you, and who would you rather have on this team than Lonzo? Who would you rather have on this current team than Lonzo? Well, I guess the first part. Does the Ball family bother you?
Yeah, Papa Ball in New York, that seems like a disaster, right?
He'll sit next to Dolan. Everything will work out. As far as
I mean, do the Knicks need more of a circus?
Well, here's the question. Even despite the fact that it's a circus, would you trade all three of your point guards for Lonzo right now? And not that Lonzo's all that great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alonzo is good. I would keep over him Mitch, right?
Yeah. I mean, Lonzo, his three is getting better. His defense is pretty good. He's still not a great point guard.
I'm guessing since you think Barrett's one of the best players in the league that you would keep Barrett over Lonzo.
Yeah, I would take Barrett over Lonzo.
Anybody else?
Probably
not, right? Morris, but like,
I mean, what's the point? He's 30. Yeah.
Yeah. Randall.
Lunch pail.
I mean, also consider like rookie contract versus $20 million a year.
Yeah. No, you're right. Like, he'd be one of the top guys on the team.
Yeah.
Paul writes, can a bad team have depth?
Yeah. The Knicks.
Yeah. Knicks don't have better depth than they've had previous years.
I think we mentioned this in another episode. Pretty much everybody on the roster seems to have similar talent. So they have depth. It's just...
No, you said it perfectly. They it's not that they don't have depth. They just don't have guys that like rise above.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have, like, you still can't you can figure out that a lot of guys could play. You just don't have a lot of guys who are like, I'm a starter. I deserve minutes.
Right. I mean, like, I guess it's good because you don't have a huge drop off when the bench comes in, but
30 minutes a game, like, who deserves 30 minutes a game? Who's getting it? Like, you figure, I'm going to put my RJ at 30 minutes a game, at least.
I'm going to say Mitch, Randall, and Morris.
I don't know if Mitch is going to get there. I think with his fouling issues, I think he's going to be more like 25 minutes a game.
Yeah, no, I agree. If he can not get in foul trouble, he's probably deserving of it, but I don't think he will get there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Morris and Randall, and that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sean writes, are there any top prospects worth tanking again for? And Paul writes, let's get Ball. I haven't seen a bit of LaMelo. I don't know how good he is. People are talking him up.
I haven't seen anything of him either. I mean, I heard he was like a huge ball hog and players hated playing with him. And then all of a sudden everyone's like hyping him up and saying he's going to be really good. So I don't know. Maybe it clicked and he got better, or maybe just because he's playing over in Australia that people aren't really watching. They're just looking at box scores. I don't know.
I have no idea.
I mean, we have a lot of Australian listeners. If you guys are watching him, he is playing in Australia, right?
Sure.
Just make that up.
Leonard writes, who do you believe will become available during the season that the Knicks should try to acquire?
Well, I guess you also have to ask who are the Knicks going to want to cut to do that?
Well, forgetting who they can cut. I mean, you can always cut players in this team. There's not like anyone's uncuttable. I mean, outside of a couple players, like you could always cut one of these guys.
Right.
But who would become available? It's like just interesting targets.
It's probably going to be a vet where the team stinks and they're just not going to want to pay the rest of his contract.
Wizards suddenly having buyer's remorse on Bradley Beal's big signing?
I could see Dion Waiters being available.
Yeah, but I mean, like, are the Knicks going to be excited about that one?
No, I don't think they should.
That seems like more of a salary dump.
Yeah, Waiters already got fined and suspended for a game.
Who else?
Conduct detrimental to the team.
What about Wiggins is available?
For like what, $30 million a year?
Yeah,
It's going to be somebody like Pau Gasol or like.
Yeah, I'm saying, is there anyone interesting actually?
Like, do the Knicks want a vet like that?
Anyone that's like 25-ish that actually might become available for whatever reason.
I can't think of anybody right now. I think it's going to be an older vet, and you only want to do that if they're like within
What if
reach of a playoff
Detroit says,
spot.
I want to reset on Blake Griffin?
Yeah, but they're not going to cut him.
No. I don't mean cut him. I mean, like, we'll have to trade for him, I guess.
Oh, okay. I was thinking just buyouts.
Oh, I'm thinking of trade. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, we were on completely different pages.
Different pages. I was like, you got to name better players here.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking like, yeah. If you're talking about trades, I mean, what if Clay comes back earlier than expected, and then Russell's available?
Yeah, that's something.
I could see teams that are like fringe playoff teams kind of just saying, yeah, we're not good enough. Like, what if Detroit says Reggie Jackson? Like, we don't need him.
I don't think we need Reggie Jackson either, but this is the year though. I feel like teams will not do that though, because the NBA is so wide open that I think more teams will think they're in than should be.
Yeah, but if you're like borderline 8th seed, do you want to get swept by the?
Oh, here's a good question.
Do you want to get swept by the Bucks, or do you want a chance at getting a good draft pick because of the
Okay, here's one for you. 3-way trade. The Miami's like, I want to upgrade my point guard situation. We're bringing in Kyle Lowry because Toronto's not playing as well. They're gonna like offload, dump money. But part of that trade, Dragic goes to the Knicks. I forget who the Knicks are gonna give up, but would you be interested in like the point guard situation at this point of the year is going poorly. Dragic is obviously a veteran, not doesn't have like its prime is probably almost over, if not over already.
Oh, it's over.
But he would really settle down the point guard situation for a little while. Like, is it worth bringing a veteran point guard just if the point guard situation really is a mess, just to make the rest of the team better?
Yeah, it definitely could be. I'm kind of worried about Dragic. He only played 36 games last season. I don't know. He's been pretty healthy before that.
Yeah.
He's 33. Yeah.
Let's assume he's like you're talking about around All-Star break, like before the trade deadline, and you're like, our point guard situation is a mess, but other players are playing well. The other players are going to be hurt by the fact we don't have a point guard. Let's just let's take on we're not going anywhere with him, but maybe he'll make the rest of the team better, and that way we can develop the other players.
Yeah, I mean, if like Peyton, Smith, and Frank are all bad, why not?
Yeah, you might just say like we need to bring in a veteran point guard at this point because or else like we're just hurting the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Luis writes, to clarify my question from last week, can Marcus Morris be an enforcer like Oakley was? A forward who won't take crap from opposing teams, who happens to be a better ball range and ball handling skills?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's Morris's idea, is that like I'm a tough guy. Like, I think he likes the 90s tradition of how tough the team was.
Yeah.
And that's what he's trying to bring back.
I like Morris.
With his comments.
I'm glad we got Morris.
Yeah, I'm totally glad. I think he's better than I expected him to be.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, we got a couple more Facebook. This is from Anthony, he writes, is it me? I haven't been really studying the issue, but it seems to me that that Dennis Smith is at the low end of the point guard list, or is he just warming up?
He's not looked good. He has me worried because I feel like he's the guy we were kind of depending on for a solid guard rotation, and if he's bad, it gets real sketchy after that.
I mean, it really comes down to that. How bad has the point guard situation been? Dennis Smith has looked kind of like trash at times. He's still in the conversation. Ntilikina has looked very mediocre. He might be leading the conversation. And Payne has looked terrible in preseason, and we're like, hey, you gotta still play him.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's been such a weird situation with this team. How have we been unable to figure out point guard for the last 20 years?
I know, it's crazy.
I mean, Felton is about as good as it's been since we started the show. our point guards have been like the best one probably was Felton and Jeremy Lin for half an hour.
The NBA has been in a guard renaissance for like 10 years now, and the Knicks couldn't get in on any of that.
Teams are like going to throw away good point guards. Like we just have too many of them, and the Knicks are like can't find a single guy to man the point.
Remember when Phoenix was so overloaded with point guards, they were just giving them away?
Yeah, Knicks.
They had like Bledsoe, Jackson, Dragic all at the same time, and they're like, yeah, we have too many point guards.
Yeah, no, they also had what's his name that went to Houston. Who was the guy who was good for half a second in Houston?
Isaiah Thomas?
No, but they did have Isaiah Thomas also.
Yeah, they had him too. I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah, they had a. Yeah, it's really bad. Am I missing someone? Like it's Felton, Jeremy Lim, and who else? Since we started doing the show.
I mean, Kidd was good during the regular season and then fell apart in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about out of the last 15 years, we have like 3 guys who didn't even play like a full good season as point guard. I mean, Marbury was probably the last good point guard, and he had like what 1, maybe 2 good seasons.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't also even that good. Just like he put up some good numbers, but like the team wasn't really good with him.
Right.
Matt writes, longtime listener, can Mark please give us his 5-minute rant or take on the Jets and Darnold's return and their future compared to Daniel Jones, the Giants? Would love to hear that. Well, I'd like to say how good Daniel Jones is. Well, Daniel Jones started off awesome, which made me so angry because you had Darnold who had mono, which just seemed like a goddamn joke. I mean, I know it's serious and all that, but at the same time, it just seemed like a joke that Jets quarterback would get mono. Since in my lifetime, I've never heard of another NFL player getting mono. In my lifetime, I've never heard of another player in any sport I followed getting mono. And of course, the Jets quarterback was out with mono, and he looked crap in the first game of the season. And I was just getting so pissed off. And I watched this guy Daniel Jones, who looked really awesome, and I was like, "Great! This is just, of course, this is our luck." Like the Giants go out on a limb, draft a guy who people thought was a bad pick there, and he ends up being awesome. Well, anyway, Jones has come back down to earth. He's thrown some interceptions. He's looking pretty good. I haven't seen enough of him, but the Giants should be pretty happy still with this pick. Darnold came back, and his first game back with no mono, feeling healthy, looked goddamn awesome, and made me really excited. They're playing the Patriots tomorrow. I'm hoping Darnold is the real deal still, but I really was. While he was on mono, I was like, the Jets should just tank the rest of the season and get a new quarterback.
All right.
Every team I follow just drives me crazy, Jay.
Yeah, we were like incapable of doing a happy podcast.
No, but I am excited for. I'm back to being excited for Darnold. He looked really good last week, so and I realized his performance in Game 1 was probably pretty bad because of the whole having mono issue.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think we did a happy podcast. What did we learn today? We learned I am super excited about RJ.
Yeah, Mark is all in on RJ.
I am all in on RJ. Do you want to do a burger bet on RJ?
We already did.
I don't know. Oh, we already did one. I said 20 points a game. I don't think he's going to get there. But
you already have no faith in your burger bet?
How about all rookie
too.
first team?
What? All first team?
All rookie first team.
Oh.
Yeah, all first team. I'm really this insane.
I was like, I will definitely take you up on that one.
All rookie first team is pretty good.
I mean, I don't know. You're talking about like a top 3 pick making the top 5 rookies.
Okay, screw you.
Really going out on a limb there.
I was going to say he's going to be Eastern Conference Rookie of the Year, Rookie of the Month for 1 month.
Okay, I'm not making these bets. This is ridiculous.
I say he puts up at least 15 points a game.
You're already down from 20.
I say at least 4 assists a game, and I say at least 5 rebounds and 4 assists a game.
Okay.
That'd be solid. Very solid rookie year numbers.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that.
And first ballot Hall of Famer?
Day 1, first. After game 1, they're just like, let's just put him in already.
Watch next show. He'll shoot 2 for 17. I'll be like, I can't believe we even had that show, Jay. He's so terrible. What? I'll back to the ledge. I've been very impressed by his game so far. So I think I think we should all, if anything, even if the Knicks aren't winning, just follow RJ, watch RJ closely. I think he's the future of the Knicks.
Okay.
Fine. Screw you, Jay. Okay, whatever, Jay. What did you learn today? And I'm gonna end the show.
I learned that you're a madman.
Screw you. I think last show I was so depressed.
No, I'm glad we're doing a positive show to start the season.
The last 2 games, I thought RJ looked really awesome. I've been really.
I know
impressed
you've
with him.
mentioned.
I've said it like 18 times. I'm getting all in now. Okay.
All right.
In case I don't get to say this again the rest of the season.
Okay. So thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week. We'll talk about some actual regular season games, which will be fun. And hopefully we'll be this positive next week.
Awesome.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. Go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good.